So, you want to use the IBISWorld database? IBISWorld is one of the databases that NU Library subscribes to. It has detailed reports and analysis on hundreds of industries. To get there, we'll start at the library homepage, library.niagara.edu. From there, we'll click on Databases A to Z. Then we can click on the letter I to jump right to the databases that begin with that letter, and then click on IBISWorld. If you're using a library database from off-campus, you'll be asked to log in with your Purple Pass username and password. To see the information that IBISWorld has on different industries, we'll click on Industry Research. On the left, we can choose whether we want to focus on the US or Canada. I'll leave it on US. Then we'll click on US Industry Reports, NAICS. NAICS refers to the North American Industry Classification System, which is a system of numbers that categorizes businesses by type. Sector is the most general category, represented by a 2-digit code number, while national industry is the most specific category, represented by a 6-digit code number. Now on this page, I want to find information about the hospitality industry. I could choose 72, accommodation and food services. This has 2 digits, so it refers to a sector, a more general category. So in this case, I'll choose 72111, hotels and motels in the US. This has 5 digits, so it's an NAICS industry, a more specific category. Now that we're in an NAICS industry report, we have a navigation bar on the left side. It starts us off automatically on the About page, which shows some basic information about the industry, a diagram of the supply chain, in some cases it will list major players or large companies in the industry, and we also have main activities, products, and services in this industry. Right now I'm just going through the sections of this page by scrolling down the page. I can also look at the sidebar and click the arrow next to About to expand the menu. This shows all the sections on this page. If I click to, say, Industry Definition, it jumps right there. Now let's look at some of the other pages. I'll go to Industry Performance, and the first section here is called Key External Drivers. This chart is interactive, so I can look at the revenue for this industry and overlay different drivers on the chart to see them together. Right now we can see that the industry's revenue is closely related to domestic trips by US residents. And you can see how the two sets of data are overlaid. I could also add consumer spending, for example. And you can see that that's not as closely correlated as the other two. I could also uncheck domestic trips just to compare the industry's revenue to consumer spending. Let's stay on the Industry Performance page, and I'll click the down arrow to expand the menu for this page. Now we'll go to Current Performance. It starts by showing revenue measured as a percentage change from year to year, or I could also show it just as values of the dollar figures in billions. As before, I can overlay different performance measures of the industry, such as employment and the number of establishments. Or if I want to display only one performance measure, I could do a different type of comparison. I'll deselect establishments and employment, so I'm back to just looking at the revenue in values on billions of dollars. And right now we're looking at revenue for the NAICS industry, hotels and motels in the US. But I could also look at revenue for the more general category, that sector that we saw before called accommodation and food services. So now I can compare the values for both of those together. I could also overlay the average for the US economy as a whole and look for any possible connections or correlations between these values for the industry, the more general sector, and for the whole US economy. Now I'll go to the page Operating Conditions. I'll click the arrow to expand the navigation menu for this page and go to the section called Technology and Systems. This section shows the influence of disruptive technology on the industry. It starts with a ranking of different factors and how much of an effect they have, such as the rate of entry into the industry. Below that is a heading called Technological Disruption in the Hotels and Motels in the U.S. Industry. This gives a written analysis of the disruptive forces in this industry, such as Airbnb and similar sites, and the rise of remote meetings. Now, these are just some of the industry reports available, and we encourage you to check out the rest of them on this left-hand sidebar and all the different sections that make up each page. If you're researching a niche or emerging industry, it may not have an NAICS classification number. In that case, click on Industry Research at the top, and then click on U.S. Specialized Industry Reports. So here you can find reports on other industries such as industrial hemp production, martial arts studios, or 3D printer manufacturing. Clicking on any of these industries will take you to the same types of reports that we just looked at. Now you know how to use IBISWorld. If you still have questions, feel free to contact NU Library for assistance.